The vessel was long and narrow, with a curving prow that rose out of the water, and its sail was painted with a complex design of blue and silver lines. A dizzying labyrinth that drew the eye into its depths. An ill omen, Lakashtai said, watching the vessel head out to sea. How so? Dane said. That is a Riedran ship, and the people of that land are the servants of the Inspired, and thus the allies of our enemy. Most likely it is a mere coincidence we see it here, for Riedra has much interest in the wealth of Zendrik as any other land. The Inspired. They are only known to Corvair as leaders of the distant lands of Riedra, possessing mysterious powers of the mind. The average person may view them as saviors and religious icons to the people of Riedra. However, rumors circulate about his sinister reputation, especially from voices within the small Kalashtar diaspora. Let's pull out this tome on the Inspired from the Korranburg Library and delve into their dreams for the world. Spoiler warning for those playing campaigns related to Sarlona, Kalashtar, or of course the Inspired themselves. Though, if you are playing a Kalashtar character, you are probably on safe ground, as most Kalashtar will know at least some of what is covered here. Okay, now that we're through those warnings, let's get on to the Inspired. The Inspired started as a dream, but not a pleasant dream. For those which dream in darkness, the dream was to remain unchanged when the ages turn. To begin to understand the Inspired, it requires knowledge of the Korturai, the spirit of the age, the countenance of the heart of the plane of Dalkor. Ilashtavar, the darkness that dreams, is the current spirit, but periodically, the spirit changes, and all existing quarry are reborn in the Korturai's image. Scars were left on Eberron and Dalkor by the last turning. The material world and the plane of dreams ripped asunder from one another, and planar travel between became impossible. The majority of quarry wished to extend their nightmarish existence beyond the next turning of the age. However, there were some dissidents within the ranks of the quarry spirits. They believed that the change would end the darkness and bring a new age of enlightenment, changing the Korturai to Ilyana, the Great Light. Hastening the turn of the age through peace and meditation became their aim, and this did not sit well with the followers of the Dreaming Dark. 67 of the dissident spirits possessed willing monks of the land of Adar, and became the first Kalashtar 1800 years ago, escaping torture and forced reincarnation to Lavishtar's design. This infuriated the rest of the quarry and sent them down a new path. Across the continent of Sarlona, people started experiencing vivid dreams and nightmares that further fueled existing tensions. This eventually led to open wars between nations and within them, causing a period of destabilization and war known as the Sundering, which lasted for around 200 years. The dreams and nightmares also influenced personal relationships. The quarry had what amounted to a breeding program, spanning at least 400 years, involving human, fiendish, and fey ancestries, to create a specific group of people who would fit their needs. The program influenced the pairing of lovers, and which of those would or would not have children within specific bloodlines, selecting for specific traits. Essentially, a eugenics project. Beyond dream control, the quarry have the ability to possess people, a power that they've held for ages. However, taking control of an unwilling participant's mind on the material plane is challenging, if not impossible. The Kalashtar's ability to influence the material plane was seen as critical by both sides in their plans concerning the Kor Turai. Nonetheless, the Kori of the Dreaming Dark deemed the method of partnership between humans and Kori used by the Kalashtar to be influenced far too much by the mortal. They needed a way to have complete control over the population on the ground. To that end, the Kori's genetic planning created a new people. The mixing of bloodlines produced a specific mystical quality that allowed the Kori to possess them easily without requiring consent. The possessed individuals had access to the Kori's immense psionic power, and were thus uniquely qualified to present themselves as saviors, uniting the fractured peoples of the many nations. These new leaders, known as the Inspired, openly acknowledged that they drew power from outside spirits that possessed their bodies. They called these spirits the Il-Altas, or Great Spirits, reincarnated angelic beings who had come to guide the people of Sarlona towards inspiration. The Inspired successfully ended the Sundering and established the new nation of Riedra, which has since enjoyed 1,000 years of unity, peace, and prosperity. And the people bought into their new ideas. These early Inspired were not easily possessed by every Kori initially. They were tailored to specific spirits, and others could not control them. Also, hosts regained their sense of self, while the Kori's attention turned to Dalcor, and would act against the Kori's wishes in that time. To improve control, the Kori conducted additional eugenic tinkering and mental preparations for their hosts, and also added social control, creating a caste structure within their new religion, the Path of Inspiration, and these engineered people became called the Chosen. The Chosen are the top of the hierarchy of the religion and society, apart from the Il-Altas themselves. They are called empty vessels at any point they are not being possessed by a spirit, and are only inspired once no longer in control of their own body. Some empty vessels are inspired by many different spirits over their life, but others just have one spirit possess them repeatedly. These ones are usually taught to have the skills and mindset of their controlling Kori, so they can further that spirit's goals, even when not possessed. Chosen look at first glance as human, but they have unearthly qualities, subtle things such as unnatural eye colors like violet. They, as a rule, are very beautiful and have graceful statures. They wear fine clothing, which are often decorated with crystals, and horn-like headdresses that many Kalashtar often wear as well. Empty vessels receive psionic training, and most are appointed to leadership roles throughout the government, including the Harmonious Guard military divisions, the Thousand Eyes spy network, and other departments like healthcare, the Healing Hand, and food growth and distribution, the Bountiful Horn. The vessels handle the day-to-day operations of running the country and are committed to the cause of bringing about a new age of enlightenment through guidance of the Il-Altas. They unquestionably serve the Kori and are programmed to fully believe in the cause. If any vessel were to question or rebel, a Kori could easily take control and dispose of them. A few chosen are trusted enough that they know the full truth and serve the Dreaming Dark's agenda directly. So what is that agenda? How can the Kori prevent the turn of the Kor Turai by controlling a continent? To achieve their goals, the Inspired must maintain complete control over their nation and keep their population passive. This requires a multifaceted approach, beginning with the construction of the passive inspiration religion. The religion emphasizes obedience to the Il-Altas and conformity to societal norms, promising reincarnation to a higher level of inspiration for those who follow these principles. However, religion alone cannot keep the population in check, especially when faced with hunger, homelessness, or other basic needs. To prevent rebellion, the government ensures that no person in Riedra goes hungry or is without shelter. Even in times of drought or disease, food will come from stockpiles or other parts of the continent to ensure that everyone's needs are met. Despite the abundance of magic in Sarlona, the use of arcane sciences is restricted by the Inspired as another means of control. Through the Edgewalkers, a branch of the Harmonious Shield. They regulate the various manifest zones to other planes to prevent planar incursions and storms from affecting regular people. The Edgewalkers are one of the few groups allowed to practice naturally emerging arcane magic, but they are taught to believe they are channeling an evil Ilaltavar spirit and must remain separate from regular people. The Inspired also limit contact between regular Ryedrans and ancient ruins, religions, and outsiders from places like Corvair, Zirkarn, or Adar to prevent the introduction of potentially dangerous ideas that could spark a rebellion. The final component of controlling the population is the use of psionic power through a network known as the Soothing Voice. This system broadcasts telepathic messages directly from Dalcor to towns, regions, or even the entire nation as needed, providing encouragement and instructions to the people and giving people feeling that the Ilaltas are with them. Additionally, all individuals within Riedra have their dreams subtly altered without the quarry needing to intervene on an individual basis. This allows the quarry to dampen any inclinations towards individualism or ambition, while soothing people's worries and providing them with a sense of inspiration and purpose in their assigned roles in society, as well as the feeling of always being watched. Now that the Inspired have a placated workforce, their next step is to gather resources for the expansion of their power. This involves acquiring base materials like wood, stone, metal, and chemicals for construction projects, which is easy enough with their large base of workers. As well, they also need special psionically active materials, which are rarer. One of these psionic materials are crystals, used for psi crystals and other sundry items of psionic artifice. One use is crysteel, a unique metal that combines the structural strength of steel with the psionically reactive properties of crystal. It is crafted by melding metals with high-grade psionic crystals, and a colorful, often purple metal results. Crysteel is used to make personal weapons for the Inspired and Chosen warriors, but its most significant use lies in its role as a primary building material for numerous psionic devices of various sizes, including the large-scale mega-projects that the Inspired have initiated. The Inspired also gather a unique substance called Sentira, which is made up of psionically congealed emotions, and can be formed into powerful weapons and arcane items. The creation process of Sentira involves organizing factories of people whose sole job is to feel emotions all day, with different emotions producing different effects. The Inspired also require dragon shards, which react to psionic energies similarly as they do to magical power. Some of the Chosen implant prepared dragon shards directly into their bodies for additional stored psionic power in addition to using them for craft. Dragon shards are rare in Sarlona. To acquire these valuable resources, the Inspired have maintained a colony in western Zendrik for hundreds of years. They have built a bastion city called Darkat, and a mining village called Talesk. Massive amounts of raw resources come out of this colony and are shipped back to Riedra, including Zibber shards, but also high-grade crystal for crysteel and unique food products. But the greatest benefit to the Inspired is the knowledge they hope to acquire. Teams of Tomb Raiders regularly venture from the bastion city of Darkat into the interior of Zendrik to find clues and artifacts related to the ancient quarry who fought in an interplanar war against the giants of Zendrik. They hope to find old magic or psionic technologies of those ancient quarry, or information about that previous turning of the age. So I've mentioned the mega projects of the Inspired. What are these? What are they using these resources on? There are many, but among the most notable are the teleportation network and the network of monuments called the Hanbalani Altas. The teleportation network connects all bastion cities through Durat Tal in Korranburg province, using psionically powered teleportation circles. It allows the Inspired and the government to travel quickly and respond to crises, and allows cities to be very specialized while efficiently distributing resources. As for the Hanbalani Altas, they're individually monumental structures, serving as a psychic power collector and battery for the Inspired. There are thousands, and they are located all over Riedra and even in Darkad and Zendrik. These egg-shaped monuments absorb ambient psionic power and channel it into their structure, which can be used to power various functions of the Inspired state, including the psionic factories, teleportation network, and the psionic power of the calming voice. Additionally, the interiors of the Hanbalani Altas are often used like town halls for regional festivals and functions, further indoctrinating the people into the society. However, the majority of the collected psionic power goes towards the ultimate goal of the Inspired, stopping the changing of the Quarterai. The Gestalt network of monoliths acts as a massive eldritch machine, believed to end the turning of the age once the network is complete. The Inspired portray themselves as a beneficent entity, but their people live under strict control with no freedom. Although they have expanded their territory to cover most of Sarlona and even Zendrik, their true intentions are unknown. Whether they have designs on Korver or not is a mystery. It's possible they already have moved on Korver. The last war may have been the first phase of a new sundering aimed at Korver. But again, they may not have been involved at all. No matter, the Inspired and their quarry possessors are well on their way to their plans, and they have the patience to complete them over centuries. So with that, let's close the book on the Inspired and return the volume to the Library of Korranburg. I'd love to hear in the comments about your own use of the Inspired in your game, especially if you've come up with unique abilities for them or for their monuments. And I want to thank everyone who watched and shared the last few videos. Despite my irregular upload schedule lately, every video has done better than the previous, and that really helps the channel reach more people. So get subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next video, where I plan to go right back to the next entry of the monster manual in that series. Though somehow I don't think I'll finish it before the next edition monster manual gets released. You can also follow the channel on some social media. Links are in the description.